go. Welcome to the Community Hotline, presented by 88 Real Estate Media, for the community, by the community. I am your host, Mr. Bob Fang, and today we have community member Mark. Good sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Bob. My name is Mark Kelaidis. I'm the broker general manager of Gestalt Group and Engel, Volkers, Newport Beach, and I'm here with Bob, and we're going to chat and hopefully bring value and something that is you can help you and you can implement in your world to make your life better.
I love it. I think after speaking with you earlier, I think a big reason that I'm really glad that I have you on the show is because you have 6 kids, and to juggle this and to juggle 6 kids and a whole family, I feel like you just have like a wealth of knowledge to offer. So thank you for joining us today. I'll get down to the rules of the game. This is a no cursing show. So if you do curse, you will get a first strike. You'll get a second strike on the second one, and the third strike, it'll be an out. So far, no one has even hit the second or third strike, so I think we're in the safe zone so far. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. First topic of the day is going to be money. Tell me, Mark, what is money?
Money, while not the most important topic, just the first topic, right?
Yes.
Money is not the most important topic, but money in my world and in my perspective, money is scoreboard. Money is how the results of what you're doing and what you're putting into your chosen profession or career or job, really. I mean, and I have a belief that if you're going to spend your precious time, doing something called work or something that's a version of work or a career, you should do it well and you should love it. And it's hard to do well if you don't love it. So I think everybody should find what they love.
That's great. Tell me, how did you get into real estate?
That's an interesting story. So it's a long story, but I'll shorten it up. My dad was a real estate broker and I hated real estate. I watched him work night and day, never take a break, never take a vacation, stressed out, not always stressed out, but it looked pretty hard and it looked relentless and complicated. And just as a kid, it looked not fun to me. So I went to school, I went to college. When I got out, I had a couple jobs and I was like super disappointed in what I was getting paid, the money I was making. And because I wanted to get compensated for what I put in, for what I brought every day, for the energy and my commitment to what I was doing, and I wanted fair compensation, and it did not seem like that was what happened. And so I did a little research, figured out you can get paid really well. And it's a lot more personal, it's where we go home to at night. So I like that about it.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. What would you say? I think, just having kids of your own and then going through, life, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that the youth faces when it comes to money?
Well, we don't, and I think properly, we don't put as high a value on it, when we're younger as we do as we get a little bit wiser, you know what I mean? And learn how it can benefit us and how we can benefit others. You know what I mean? If I was able to, I'd spend, as much of my time as I could just giving back to the community and spending what money I had in ways that helped other people, because nothing feels more gratifying. But, when you're, that's a great idea when you're 17 years old or 16 years old or 19 years old, 21 years old, but it's just a little bit out there. One thing I would recommend for everybody, as soon as they're old enough to understand it and to implement, is to take money and invest it in things. Take money and invest it in things that are going to be around. Put money in where it's going to grow and make you money. And You know, that's not a complicated thing, but it's something that everybody can do right out of the gate. You know what I mean? One of my earliest clients showed me how to buy one stock at a time. So you could go buy one stock in the Disney Corporation for 28 bucks, you know, and you could get the certificate mailed to you, and it was a really cool thing. And you can still do this, by the way. And then you can give that as a gift, like to a kid or for a graduation or something. But, you know, over time, that one thing will multiply and grow. And even that one $28 stock after 25 years, you know, when you're 21 years old, you think of being 40, you're like, oh my God, I hope I'm dead by then. That's so damn old. What would I, oh, I got a strike. What would I do? What would I do what would I do if I was 40 anyway? I don't need money back then, but you know, it's just one of those things. Anything you do, any business you start, any app you create for your phone, any seed you plant, right, when you're young is going to grow into a big tree. So it's the same with money. You know, you do a few things like that that continue to can grow and make you money. If it makes you $5 a week and you ignore it for 25 years, it's a lot of money. You know, and that's not something that's hard to do, by the way, right? Create something that makes you $5 a week, but you do it and ignore it, it'll make you a ton of money. So I think that's one of the recommendations, the advice I would give to young people is keep that in mind and think about what would be cool or how you could do that.
Invest your money. Yes, I love it. I love it. That's great. I don't think,
or just your time, right, Bob? Just your time for, you know, something that creates a revenue stream. You know, something that'll make, like if you created an app, you know, that people could buy for 99 cents, and it makes you $5 a week because 5 people a week buy it in the world, and it's something they can use, and it stays around for 10 years. You're gonna make a lot of money. So it doesn't even have to be an investment of your money, but it can be an investment of your time and your, you know, your intellect.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I think everything that you touched upon it's I think when you said earlier, what really strike me was when you mentioned, you know, when you're young, you don't really think about, you know, the future. You're like, oh, I hope by the time I'm 40, you know, I'm dead. Like, you know, people are kind of living this life. But, you know, I think definitely you explaining, you know, the concept of like, you know, the $5 a week, you know, it's just starting small as long as you have money coming in and you're not, you know, spending it on Starbucks every single week.
Right.
That's kind of the key, right? It accumulates over time. That's a great tip, which is a great transition into the second topic of education. Tell us, who were you in high school?
You know, I hesitate to answer that question. I was I was a rebel kid that got by on my smarts and you know, skipped out of school as often as I could to go to the beach and had as much fun as possible. I didn't take it very seriously, and it is something that I value. You know, it is something that I hold my own kids a little more accountable to, for a couple of reasons. You know, it's you know, there's certain milestones, there's certain things that you've got to you should accomplish along the way, right? And getting a general education where you can, you know, interact with a greater pool of people, a greater part of the world, I think is benefits everybody, no matter what they're going to do, whether they want to, whether their career is something that's you know, engineering, where they're sitting by themselves at a computer all day. You know, there's still interaction within their group that they have to do, or if they're out in the world trying to change the world. You know, the more you're educated, the more people you can touch and the more connected you can become.
I love that. I love that. I think you brought like two really good points, especially the uniform one about, you know, people feeling there should be a level playing field. Wow. No, that got me thinking. Thank you for that. I think we should just transition to I would argue the most important topic of the day, which is kind of a blend of the two that we've kind of talked about.
Sure.
is love. You seem like you have a lot of love, for your kids. The way that you talk about them and the way that you want them to succeed in life, which is, I see that in a lot of parents. What is love then? What is your definition of love?
Well, having not ever really thought about it in that term, what is the definition of it? I feel like it's compassion, acceptance, empathy, and real deep connection. You know, that kind of unconditional acceptance of another person, whether it's your parent or your child or you know, uh, your romantic partner, your business partner, acceptance of who they are, which, a lot of us think, oh yeah, I accept everybody. A lot of us feel like we're really good at that, um, until we're pressed, until we're pushed to a point where we have to accept someone that really is very different than us. It might be, it could be your brother, right? It could be your brother that virtually you're the same person, but you have two different feelings about everything else in the world. You know what I mean?
Right. You got
And
a brother, you got a brother that you feel different with?
I have two sisters. I don't have brothers, but I have two sons that are really different. And they very much they love each other, and they're very good friends, besides being brothers. And they're not super close in age; they're 3 years apart. But um, I think we all feel like we're accepting until it's really until we're really challenged, and then we learn how accepting we are. And I think that's a point of growth. I think that's where we can grow, and I think it's good to almost look for those experiences and connect with people that are very different than ourselves, because I think it does teach us a lot about love. And I saw a post on Instagram recently with all the stuff going on in the world, something about you know hating never fixed anything, and and love seems to always be the answer, love and acceptance. So I think it's huge.
I agree. It's definitely a huge topic that I feel like, a lot of people don't know, especially with self-love. What would you what are two defining moments in your life, and how did it impact you?
um,
I like that deep breath, preparing yourself.
well, I mean, I'm a couple years older than you, Bob, so I've had a few defining moments. And it's hard, it's really looking back, it's and thinking about it, it's hard to weigh which ones are really most important. Um i think i think one of them, and I think this is huge, and it's huge for a lot of people, is um looking inside, and deciding, am I being true to myself? Am I living an authentic life? Am I saying who I am? Am I being myself? You know what I mean? Who I really am,
Right.
and loving yourself. I think, for one reason or another, growing up, learning to make our way in the world, finding our path, finding how we fit in, finding or just making it all work. I think we can lose sight of who we are. We start to do things because other people want us to do them, or other people think we should do them, or they influence us to. Our parents have a lot of times have a perception of who we should be and what we should do. That goes on a lot, right? Or who we should be with, or who we shouldn't be with, right? And then we start to adopt those beliefs because they're so influential on us. And one day we wake up and look in the mirror, and we're not living an authentic life. And so I think the defining moment, the biggest one for me, is accepting you for you. You're flawed, imperfect, learn it the hard way sometimes, self. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a person?
We're having a little connectivity issue.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was like, do you have a personal experience that you might want to dive into about the self love and the influences of yourself?
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Um, you know, um, um, where would I start? I think I set the bar earlier in my life when I was younger. Although I got through school pretty easily, because I was smart enough to not do a lot of work and still get by. Unfortunately, and that's not a blessing, by the way. That is not. Um, I think that I have always been able to, I have a good work ethic. I like to, I have an aversion to doing things I don't like.
Mm,
So I usually end up, whatever work I'm doing, it's something I enjoy it at some level. So I can get into it. So I've never had a lot of trouble, you know, paying the bills, making money. So, that wasn't it. But I think in my personal life, I do have 6 kids. They're not all with my, I was married a couple times. They're not all from this, with the same partner. And so in my personal life, I wasn't. I had some flaws there. I wasn't. I was a little trial and error with that. And I think as I got older, and I was a single dad for a long time. I think a lot of that I just inside I felt like it was a failure. Inside I felt like I didn't, I wasn't having a success with that, and it was hard for me to own. It was hard for me to talk about and own. And when people was asked about it, like you are now, I would avoid the issue, or change the subject, or sugarcoat it, or outright tell stories sometimes because it was just uncomfortable.
right.
And and owning that has been a lot of self-love for me. Like, it made me who I am. I love who I am. I'm proud of what I've done. I have great kids. They love each other. Like, it took a long time and a lot of work to come to a place where I was like accepting myself of mistakes or things that didn't work out, and then deciding that it was okay. You know.
I love that.
So
I love that. That's love right there. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I think that's a huge topic that people don't talk about, is like appreciating fathers, or like single fathers and single parents. And it's just, I think a lot of people think like, oh, you're a man, you need to step up. You should just, do this. You can't, you just got to
yeah,
put through it. And I think a lot of men, I've heard this before. And I just want to talk about this briefly because, you brought the topic.
sure.
But there's studies that show that, like, the typical like the suicide rate in men is a lot higher, than women.
Right.
And typically what happens is a man will get married to a woman, right? And be the provider of the family and be working those long hours. And then the wife with the kid will feel neglected, and then divorce the man, and then take the house, take everything. And then he's left by himself, and then he gets laid off, and his purpose is now gone. And then usually
Mhm.
that's the downward spiral that you see in a lot of men. And I think I appreciate you bringing it up, because I don't think it's, mentioned enough. So
Absolutely. And I think you can get really hung up anywhere along the way there if you're not being living an authentic life. I think it starts with accepting yourself for who you are and loving yourself, and then everything else comes after that. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and I've worked with their organization off and on a little bit in the Bay Area when I was up there. And starts with yourself. Number one is you got to take care of you, because you can't take care of anybody until you're taking care of yourself. So that's a huge one for me. And the other one I wanted to mention was, you know uh, self-esteem is a huge thing, and so many things can ding a person, especially a young person's self-esteem. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I would seek out mentors that, you know, and people that recognize what's best about you and what's beautiful about you, and protect your self-esteem at all costs. You know what I mean? I think so many people get beat up, and their self-esteem is dings and dents in it along the way. And for me, this I'm talking from personal experience. That early in my professional career, you know, I set the bar kind of low, because personally it didn't occur to me that I had more value than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a result, I think, of people can, you know, they can kick your butt along the way, and it can get to you. And, you know, I'll never forget, I had a coach or somebody sit down with me when I was really early on in my career. And I started doing really well, really fast, but, you know, I didn't know what well was. And I
Mhm.
can't, you know, and, you know, I had some pretty nice experiences growing up of what doing well should look like and what wealth should look like. But, you know, you know, it didn't mean enough to me when I was exposed to it to take it in as, you know, value. Am I worth this life, or am I worth these, you know, accomplishing these things? And one of the first coaches I had, we sat down, and, you know, he asked me something like, you know, you know, how much money is enough money? How much money do you want to make? I said something like $50,000 or something. And, you know, I, at the time, it was all the money in the world, right? I was like, oh my God. And, you know, I look back at it, and it's funny because I was like, oh, that was so embarrassing. But, you know, it's your personal worth. And, you know, it's easy to set the bar too low because you don't understand your value. When I coach and I train people in my profession and in my business, you know, I say you've got to start with you. You have to believe that when you sit down with someone and you want their business, you know, you want to work with that person, you have to believe you're worth it. You know, you can't just want that paycheck. You can't just want that client because it's gonna, you know, this client equals this transaction equals I get this much money. That doesn't work. It can't be about the money. You've got to believe in yourself, and that you are worth working with, that people should want to be with you, that they should want to collaborate with you, and that there's value in it. And if you don't know your value, that's where you have to start. You have to get a handle on that and really understand and appreciate your value before you can sell anybody else on it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Thank you. Wow. I think you've given so many gems today, and you were definitely super, you know, open and vulnerable, and you definitely, I think you accomplished your intention of, you know, bringing that value. What can the community do for you? You know, what is your biggest problem? And, you know, if someone in the community hotline was listening, if they could come help you, or, you know, what's the biggest problem you have?
Oh man, I that reminds me of that movie. What's it called? With Nicolas Cage, where he's interacting with the guy that was robbing a grocery store, and he says, "What do you need, Jack?" And he says, "Oh, I don't need anything." And then his life just goes off the rails because they're, you know, the universe needs to show him that he doesn't have everything. You know what I need help with is, you know, I manage and own part of a large real estate company, and I think the perception of what we do um, is not clear in the world. You know, I look at how Hollywood portrays real estate agents. If you ever watch a movie and there's a real estate agent in it, they are sketchy, or they're you know, they're shady. Like there's always something dishonorable or something unattractive about them. And it bothers me immensely because uh, you know, they work so hard. You know, those guys work so hard to help their clients, and, you know, it's very personal to them. They're very, to get those transactions done, they have to be uber professional and understand so many moving parts, you know, to make it happen and come together. It's not rocket science. It's not a complex business. It's a simple business, but it's hard to do. It's hard work.
Right.
And, you know, go out and hug your real estate agent today. That's what you can do for me. Show them, give them some love, you know, refer them a client, show them some love, you know, let them, you know, let's raise that level of perception. I've been actually, that's one of my soapboxes, because I feel like residential real estate professionals have such an invaluable job, you know, and you know, I always tell them when I'm coaching them, you know, you don't sell anything. Houses sell themselves. You don't sell houses. You represent clients. You know, you represent them to have the American dream, you know, to get into some place where they go home every night with their family. There's nothing more important or more personal than that. So personally, I'm grateful and I feel blessed that I work in that field and I get to do that every day, you know?
I love it. I love it. That's great. That's great. Well, before I forget, guys, 88 Real Estate Media is looking for members to join the oversight committee to build the best Kung Fu school in Southern California. Shoot us a message if you want to learn more. Also, if you do business in the real estate industry, please just consider hiring 88 Real Estate Media. Other than that, Mark, where can people find you? What's your Instagram? What's your phone number? You know, how can they come and give you a hug or give you some, you know, some transactions?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's just Mark Kelaidis, my first and last name, at Mark Kelaidis. I'm at Engel and Volkers Newport Beach, which is a German-based company that does real estate around the world, but very locally as well. And it's a lot of fun. We're at 3636 East Coast Highway. So we're right in Corona del Mar on Pacific Coast Highway. You cannot miss the building. It's a big white building. It's beautiful. You're welcome to stop in, have a cappuccino, and say hi. And can we put my Instagram on the across the.
Of course, it's Mark. How do you spell your last name again?
KEL.
Yeah.
AIDIS.
Let's see. Is this right here?
Yep.
Okay. And what's your number? Right. What's your number? If they can they can call you as well.
Yeah, call or text me.
Yeah.
It's a weird number, 801.
801.
651.
651.
2044.
2044. Okay. Guys, hit him up. 861-651-2044 at Mark Kelaidis. Give him a follow on Instagram, a shout out, give him a like on Facebook. If you're looking to get into real estate, this is definitely the man to reach out to. If your parents are looking to buy or sell, or if you're looking to buy or sell, this guy will definitely take care of you. When you see him, give him a hug. Other than that, Mark, you got any last words for the audience before we head out?
Yeah. Do we want to give them some takeaways?
Sure. Yeah. Top two takeaways.
Top two takeaways. Be genuine. Don't waste time. You know, if you're going to spend time with someone, dig deep, go deep, be real, be vulnerable, have a real connection, and be yourself. And be present in your day. Always be present. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Yesterday's over. Don't give it any energy. Let it go. Just be here today. Be your beautiful, genuine self and be present.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.